Let's just get this shit over with.
Amanda,
Yeah.
do you fancy yourself a god?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, it was easy.
For the record, if somebody asks you if you're a god, you say yes.
Yes. You know what that's from?
No.
Oh. Guys, welcome Real Awkward.
Welcome.
I'm Andy.
I'm Amanda, the Ghostbuster aficionado.
Oh, there it is. And who are you?
Hey, Ashley Ray.
Hey,
Hi.
Ashley Ray. Guys, if you clicked on the thumbnail, we are talking about everything immortal.
What?
Okay, no, we're just talking about Greek mythology.
I was going to say, this episode's not about me.
Got him.
Gods, monsters, and heroes coming at you. But first,
But first.
But first, not sponsored.
Wait,
Food of the gods.
Oh, wait, there's more.
Wait, we are not sponsored by Pringles. We are sponsored by GeekGuilt.com. Go check them out. But we do have Pringles. Ash and I went on a little trip, and we found out in this little village, this quaint one on an island, Pringles ketchup chips.
Really, we went to a shop and the lady, we asked for a Canadian candy, and she was like, no, but I have these chips.
And so we were like, all right, give us the damn chips.
Is this when you went on your day trip? With your
Yes.
girls?
San Juan
Okay.
Islands, yeah.
So, Ash is going to pop that top, and once she does, we can't stop.
Andy was
the whole
very
episode. Just
absolutely
eating
not.
Pringles.
I hate mouth noises. Andy was very adamant about smelling the
I want to
can.
smell them on air, and then you guys can smell it through my voice.
Okay, so I have to
Yes.
ask a question. Is the pop from the lid or from the seal?
I always thought it was from the lid.
I
'cause
think
you
it's from
pop
the lid. Let's see.
But then, do it. God, that was
Nope.
so lame.
Nope.
That's like, if that was a commercial, I'd be like, don't care. Oh,
think it's that.
that's her tearing it off. So she popped the top off,
Someone's dying right
ripped
now.
the lid.
Oh, that is straight up ketchup.
Let me smell. Let me smell. Let me get some
Get
of
a
that ketchup.
smell.
Hey, can I have some of
It
that?
smells like ketchup and fries.
Oh, I'm going to take a chip right now.
It is ketchup and fries.
I'm going to take
Yeah.
a chip right now, and we are going to, on air.
Oh my God! Please,
We're
just,
gonna have a Pringles
please,
ketchup
I
chip.
listen to these. Please don't chew into the.
Hey,
Well,
Amanda, this
timestamp
one's
this.
for you. If I could describe the tension in this room right now,
Okay,
I
let
could
me-
cut it.
As somebody who grew up putting ketchup on everything, this tastes like my life.
Okay, let me
Because
tell
you're
you.
from Canada.
No, I'm not.
Let me say, I am not a huge Pringles fan. I think they always taste stale. These are not stale.
No.
Even though they're from another
Oh,
country.
ketchup stays
I
with me.
have had ketchup flavored potato chips.
Mm-hmm.
They were too vinegary. These are incredible. Like
Amanda's
no.
over there.
I
loving the
think they're a
Pringles
good
chips.
mix of like the
Yeah.
potato and the salt. I think they taste like a McDonald's French fry dipped in ketchup.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Specifically,
Full
McDonald's
on
fry.
ketchup flavor.
So, this is not the Pringles ketchup episode.
I'm gonna eat
so
more.
we're going to do our best. If you guys hear some crunching, we're tasting it. But we are walking through Greek mythology. And I got to ask you ladies first, how much knowledge do you have on Greek mythology?
Here's how much I know. I've seen Hercules about 80 times. And I've one time watched Percy Jackson.
Oh, okay. So you pretty much know
I'm
everything.
pretty much an expert.
She has a Medusa tattoo.
I do.
I know. And I hope you know the story and stories of Medusa.
I know some.
Okay. So we're going to
And let
talk
me be
about
clear.
it.
The story I know isn't why I got the Medusa tattoo. I've just always thought she was incredible looking.
She is incredible looking. She is good chip.
We apologize if you hear
so
crunching throughout the episode.
Whis.
That's why
We're not holding back.
That's why I'm actively leaning way out of the way of the microphone.
With Mythology 101. So this is an introductory into Greek mythology. If you've been a fan of these amazing stories and tales, then you are going to enjoy this episode. Okay?
Excellent.
Okay? Or you guys will all be very
Or
confused.
these are bedtime stories,
Yes.
and you're going to go right to
all
sleep.
going to be confused because the family tree is just a bunch of like redneck.
The family tree is a circle.
The family tree. Let's just say they get with each other's, okay?
They what?
They get with each other's.
With each other?
With each other's. So we're going to start, okay? If you guys are still listening and you're in the car, thank you so much.
Yeah, sorry, I let that go on for too long.
So I'm going to give you guys I'm going to try to make it brief. I know it's hard. So it all starts off with chaos. That was just like nothing. Like in the Greek mythology, it's like, where did these gods come to be? They call it just chaos. It's like the internal void of nothingness.
Or if you're the one lady at Blockbuster 15 years ago, chouse.
Well, yeah, I need to
She goes,
watch
she
this.
says to me,
Chouse.
in all seriousness,
What is
do you
this
guys
movie?
have chouse? Do we have what?
How do you spell it?
And when
love
we had
it.
like the things on the
Like the reader board thing?
yeah, she's like chouse, and I was like, I felt bad at the time, but I was like, oh, you mean chaos?
Like you looked at her like, you freaking idiot.
Yeah. So
Okay,
continue.
it took me until like 33 to realize that awry was not pronounced awry.
All right, I'll give you that one.
All right, cool.
expecting
So,
more judgment, but go
if you
on.
guys are already lost, we're talking about mythology. From chaos was Gaia. Gaia was
The Captain Planet character.
Gaia. Yes, Gaia basically is like Earth and life, and then Tartarus, which is like the underworld. So-
Tartarus?
Yeah, Tartarus.
Okay.
Okay. Came out, and then also, so there's 3 children of chaos,
Okay.
and last is Eros, which is the god of love. So it's kind of interesting. It's like the earth and like hell, and then love. Like those are like the
Okay.
3 building blocks. Okay. So you have to think of these as people, but they're also concepts within the culture of these Greek mythos. So Gaia has 3 children. She has Uranus, mountains, and sea.
Okay.
Then she gets with her own child, Uranus.
All right.
She's like, I'm going to marry that dude because that's the only other dude that exists.
Marry your ass.
I'm going to get him. And then they're going to have babies. They end up having what you would call the like second generation of Greek family, which are the Titans. That's where
I just want to be clear here.
Titans come from.
Little side note. If at any point you're bothered by this kind of mother-son thing,
This episode's not for you.
go read a Bible. You're not going to be happy with that either.
So then Gaia and Uranus have Cronus, and Rhea, who is also his sister, because
Sure.
Gaia and Uranus had Rhea as well, and other Titans.
Okay.
They also have Cyclops and the 100-handers.
I know Cyclops from the X-Men.
There you go.
Cyclops there.
Cyclops there.
Cyclops there.
Cyclops, if you guys didn't know, is the creature that has one eye. And he's big.
What?
He's
Isn't
giant.
Rhea the wife of Zeus?
No,
That's Hera.
that's Hera.
Hera.
Yeah, so you're getting there.
Same letters.
So
different order.
So then Kronos and Rhea have the Olympians, which is Hades, Poseidon, Zeus, Hera,
The classic Greek
Hestia,
gods.
and Demeter. So those ones are that's how you finally get to the Olympians. Okay, it's basically about sisters and moms and sons having
Got it.
So
brothers
but
and
it's
sisters.
really just everything that kind of made up the universe.
Right.
Are
So
like,
it's like
the parents and like the
yeah. So
family
initially,
tree of the gods.
chaos makes life and hell and love and night and day, and then from there is your mountains and your sea and like that type of
Sure.
stuff, right? So
Right.
those are supposed to be all the concepts, but basically they create it. It's not until you get to the Titans that they're supposed to look like real people.
Okay.
So like Kronos, Rhea, and some of the other Titans like,
Aren't they, like,
Prometheus
big,
and
like,
stuff.
giants?
Yeah, they're supposed to be like as big as Mount Olympus. Like that's supposed to be their height.
okay.
Like that's supposed to be their size. Are the Titans? And then Cyclops are also supposed to be Titans. They're just kind of outcasts because they're real ugly.
Yeah.
Like, they're
So
just-
if you've ever seen Hercules,
Uh-huh.
you mentally know what we're talking about
Right,
now.
yeah. So here's how the story goes, okay? Technically, family troubles since the beginning of time. There's prophecies that say your son is going to come take your throne and kill you.
Okay.
So then the fathers would literally take it upon themselves to try to kill the children. So here's an example. Uranus hated all of his kids, so he literally throws all of the Titans into Tartarus, into that hell,
Got it.
whatever. He's just like, I don't like you guys. I'm going to throw you in hell. So Gaia, being the loving mother she is, she creates a scythe for the youngest boy, Kronos, to go kill his father like surprise him. So it's like a sickle. It's like this like sharp sickle.
Like a Grim Reaper kind of
And
thing.
in the story, he cuts Uranus's nuts off,
Okay.
cuts his balls off, and he bleeds out to create the Cyclops and the 100-handers and like that. That's how he's
Interesting.
supposed to create these
He exsanguinates.
creatures. Yeah. That's how he's supposed to create like other Titans and stuff like that too from their marriage. So then the same thing happens with Kronos with Zeus. So when all of the kids are born from that, Kronos has a prophecy that all of the kids are going to dethrone him, and so he eats all of them. So
Okay.
Kronos eats all the kids. Rhea, just like Gaia before, tricks Kronos, and she gives him all the children except for the last one, which is Zeus, the littlest brother. She gives him a rock instead. He eats the rock, thinks he took Zeus down, and then Zeus goes and lives with like with the wolves,
Yeah.
and gets raised like by harpies or some bullshit. And he comes back and then slays Kronos. So that's how Zeus ends up being like the god
King of
among
the gods.
gods. So
Yeah.
that's how you get to that whole family dynamic, which is freaking ridiculous. But then once they have a battle, it's like a 10-year battle with the Titans. So it's Kronos and his people versus Zeus and his Olympians. Okay. So Zeus goes and frees some of the people that Kronos threw into Tartarus. So he frees the Cyclopses, and they give him the lightning bolt.
Okay.
That's where he gets his lightning bolt powers. He didn't have it before. He was a god, but he didn't have all those
Power.
special powers. So the way that they beat the Titans is they get help from the 100-handers, which are like goblin-looking things, and they just like throw pebbles at the Titans, which is really funny. They didn't really do anything in the battle. They just threw big rocks. And then the Cyclopses, and then Zeus and the rest of the Olympians. So after that happens, and they defeat all the Titans, now they basically are there on Olympus deciding what they're going to rule.
Okay.
So the three brothers that were left, which is Hades, I love Hades, Hades, Poseidon, and Zeus, they all draw straws.
Okay.
So obviously, Hades draws the worst one,
Yeah.
and then now he has to go be the ruler of the underworld.
Of hell, yeah.
Poseidon is the next one, so he gets the sea, and then Zeus is the god of the heavens
Okay.
and the sky. The sky. No one rules Earth. It's supposed to be like a neutral ground.
Got it.
In the story. So that's basically like where everyone came from. That's where like their origin was, and kind of
Because,
those
Earth
stories.
is where the humans live, right?
Correct.
Humans can't live in heaven or hell or the sea.
Right.
Yeah.
So then you get to like what Zeus and Poseidon and Hades actually like control, like what their dominion is over. So Zeus controls the sky, and he's also the leader of strangers. So he's the one that's supposed to protect you if someone's not being welcoming. Like, let's say the humans, like you have a stranger who's like, it's raining and they're tired.
Yeah.
If you don't welcome them in, Zeus will punish you. So he was like a very vengeful god. He was pretty pissed most of the time.
Well, Zeus wasn't the best dude.
Zeus was not the best dude. And to be honest, Zeus is known pretty much for being vengeful and having affairs.
Yes.
So Zeus he's married to
Hera.
Hera. And she's considered the vengeful goddess because she spends her entire time being pissed that Zeus just put it in another lady.
Oh, yeah.
And he ends up having all these like illegitimate children with gods and mortal women.
Yes.
And that's what Zeus would do. He would just literally spend his time like scouting out the next lady. And that's where you get characters like Hermes and Athena came
Okay.
from goddesses. But then mortal women would be like Heracles, which is Hercules.
Yeah.
And Perseus.
Hercules.
Yeah.
Hercules.
So he literally has, it's something like another 18 kids.
Damn.
From all of these various ladies. That's where he has Perseus and Hercules is where you get some popular characters.
These are demigods.
Yes, those are the ones that actually have to go through like the trials and tribulations where you hear like Perseus has to go fight Medusa.
Yes.
Right? And then Hercules has to go take care of the lion. And I forget what the lion's name is, but those are like his
So in
his journeys. Yeah.
I know it's a Disney movie.
Yes.
In Hercules the movie.
Yes.
One of the biggest scenes from that movie is when he fights a Hydra.
Right.
Is that part of Hercules' story, or was that just for the movie?
So Hercules has to take on these. They're called the 12, like the 12 challenges or something like that. And I don't remember that being in there as the actual origin. Now, these characters, like Cerberus, the Chimera, the Hydra, Sphinx, those are actually all created earlier in the timeline. Like it came from Gaia. And then, like, the sea and Tartarus, like, had babies with other people and created these monsters.
Interesting.
So, like, these monsters in the Greek and Roman history have, like, always existed. They've always kind of been out there. But they all play, like, unique roles within this crazy story that's been told. So, moving on to Poseidon. You guys know Poseidon.
Yes.
He's the god of the sea, right?
Yes.
He's also the one that causes, like, droughts and earthquakes.
Oh,
so,
interesting.
like, for the Greek culture, like that's what they believed in. If the earthquake was happening, it means we pissed off Poseidon.
Poseidon was angry.
We made him mad. Poseidon was also vengeful, though, too. So there's a guy named Midios. He's a king, and he had to give his best bull every single year, sacrifice it to Poseidon.
Okay.
So, and a lot of sailors did the same thing back in the day. If they wanted a smooth voyage or they wanted to get across the sea for trading, they would go to Poseidon and
they would make an offering.
They'd make an offering, or they would like thank him or praise him. And so anyway, every year he had to do this. One year he has this beautiful white bull. He doesn't want to have to give it up. He thinks it's one of the best bulls he's ever had. So he doesn't sacrifice it. Poseidon gets pissed, and instead of like going and killing that guy, he gets mad at his wife, tricks her to go have sex with the bull, and creates a minotaur.
Oh.
So, like, that's where the Minotaur came from.
Wow.
Is that Poseidon was legit just mad, and he's just, and I'm assuming the wife was the one that was just like, don't give him a bowl or something, you know what I mean?
The wife had something to do with it.
And so, anyway, he was just pissed. And then Poseidon has a character that you guys know very well with another god, what's her name? Amaphriite? Is that how you say it?
Couldn't tell you.
They had.
You're the one looking at the book.
They had Triton.
Oh, King Triton.
King Triton. So he's the first half fish, half man, and that's why he also carries a trident because his father Poseidon did as well.
So hypothetically, that was a creation of mermaid people.
Correct. Yes.
So
Was from
Ariel
there.
is Poseidon's granddaughter.
Yes.
Wow.
Right? Yeah, which is pretty nuts, like to go down. What's funny is that Poseidon is out sleeping with other ladies. Zeus is out sleeping with other ladies. And you would think the one guy that should be doing that would be the dominion of hell, Hades. But Hades is the one person that like just tries to have like a meaningful relationship. And he tries to have a meaningful relationship with Persephone. And Persephone is...
You know what that means?
What?
Hades was ugly.
He might have been like, he had a fugly face. But him and Persephone are known together as the gods of fertility. Which is very interesting, right? That like those
Hades
two...
would be.
Yeah, that Hades would be. So Hades had to go rule the underworld, and he made it hard to get into the underworld. So when you think of the underworld, you think of hell only. But basically, he created the spot where you get judged. So once your soul leaves your body in Greek mythology, you then go down and you have to be judged whether you're going to go to 3 different places.
Okay.
You either were a very good person and you offered much to civilization and you went to Elysium, which is like heaven. You did nothing with your life whatsoever. You just go do a field of, I think it's Asvendel, and you just stand around in a field. So you don't get to do anything, but you're not getting hurt. Like it's just that, yes. And then there's hell, which is Tartarus, which is basically that same spot, but that's where all the Titans are already held, where they're being tortured, where you get tortured on the daily in that spot.
I thought Tartarus was a person.
So that's where this becomes interesting. It's a concept, but still had children that birthed down.
Right.
But it's actually a place where people are kept. So imagine like you have to in turn
It's like
think of it.
Tafiti and Moana.
Yeah, yes. That's
She
a really
is the
good.
island.
That's a really good way to put it. So one thing that they believed in Greek culture is that for when you died, the only way to get to the gates is you had to cross the river Styx.
And you had to pay the ferryman.
You have to pay the
Yeah.
ferryman. His name's Karen or
I don't
Karan
know.
or something like that. But you have to pay the ferryman, so they would put coins on their eyes.
Yeah.
Right.
It's because if you couldn't make passage, you would then be stuck at the riverbank for the rest of your life
Yeah.
to do nothing. So then you would go to the gods. They would judge you, but before you got there, you had to get through the gates, which is guarded by Cerberus,
Got it.
three-headed dog. And Cerberus was one of the previous, gods made back.
I
in the
remember,
day.
dude, like the Cerberus and Hercules was such a cool looking like creation.
Freaking awesome.
I think he looks a lot better than Fluffy from Harry Potter. Was it Fluffy?
Fluffy.
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
remember.
From
Cerberus is
there.
cooler than Hercules.
So there's like, I think the best thing that I found in just doing like research about the Greek gods is that it all really comes from a story of learning from your betrayals, of like your kids are going to come get you, love and sacrifice. Also, they gave a lot of names to the things that just happen, whether it's an emotional response or like the way that the weather and things change. So one of the stories is a story about Demeter. And basically, Hades steals her daughter.
Okay.
And when he steals her daughter, she is the god of harvest.
Okay.
So she locks herself away for a year, and nobody has any food
I was
for
gonna
a
say,
year.
was it a drought or something?
Right. So
Okay.
she locks herself away. Zeus somehow, like with diplomacy, gets them to agree that Hades can have her for 9 months out of the year. No, sorry. Her mother gets her for 9 months out of the year, and Hades gets to have her for 3, which is winter. So that's why
Got
nothing
it.
grows, because the daughter
Is gone.
is gone, and Demeter is just sad.
Interesting.
So here's some unique gods, and you guys might already know them, and you might ask like who they are. So we've got Zeus, which we all know, right? God of the gods.
Sure.
Hera, which is queen of the gods. Then you've got Ares, which is a son of Zeus. He's the god of war.
Right.
Okay, I knew
Right.
it from Wonder Woman.
Yep. So he is a son of Zeus, but still an Olympian.
Yes.
So he was a full god. Then you have Aphrodite, the goddess of love.
Love. Okay.
Right? We've got Apollo, the god of music.
Music.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I
like
never
the
realized it was
Apollo
music.
Theater.
Yep, Apollo, the god of music. Then you have Hermes, the messenger of the gods.
Yes.
Hermes is also known as like he was the mischievous one. He would actually play tricks on them all the time and like steal their stuff.
Okay.
So he actually wasn't liked. He was actually known as like somebody that you disliked as a god. Then there's Poseidon, god of the sea. Then we've got Dionysus, I think is how you say
Dionysus.
it. Oh, I said it way wrong. He is the god of wine.
Wine.
Yes, the god of wine.
Ooh.
And actually
I always thought Dionysus was a girl,
no.
but it's the god, so obviously it's
a god. The most liked out of the gods.
That makes sense.
I wonder
Well,
why,
yeah.
right? Most liked out of the gods. Very fruitful, no pun intended.
Hey.
But he was like loving and caring and like just
he was
wanted
just
everybody
kinda
to have a
slightly
good
buzzed.
time.
Yes.
Slightly buzzed.
yeah,
all the time.
Then you had Artemis, which is the god of hunting. So
Okay.
she's who taught. Basically, she was supposed to be the one that's like, I will teach you how to catch your food and
Yeah.
live it out. And then you had, oh my God, Hephaestus. I don't know, the god of fire.
Hephaestus.
Hephaestus. And then Athena.
What was she?
Athena is the god of wisdom.
Okay.
So what's crazy is some of these stories, how they're not always birthed by just like the two getting together. In long story short, Zeus had a headache, and he begged one of the other gods to split his head open with an axe
Okay.
because he was just literally
He
in
had a
pain.
splitting
He had a
headache.
splitting headache.
Oh,
He
girl.
split it open with an axe, and Athena pops out of his head, goddess of wisdom. That's how she's created.
Wow.
Okay.
Is that where the term splitting headache comes
It
from?
very could be. It very well could be. I have no idea. I
See,
think that's amazing.
What's always interesting
though.
to me is how, like, I've never been like big into Greek mythology, but
Yeah.
like the origins of certain things have always been fascinating to
Yeah.
me. Like that.
Yeah.
Of like, Zeus had a headache. He begged someone to hit him. A baby was born. Like,
Right?
I think
Yes,
it's crazy.
like, that type of stuff coming out. So here is a fun one that Amanda loves and has on her arm. So who is it, Amanda?
Jerry Springer?
Jerry.
Just kidding.
okay.
My Jerry Springer tattoo's not on my arm.
So
Please get a Jerry Springer tattoo now.
On my butt.
that's awesome. So Medusa.
Yes.
Okay. So we want to talk about kind of monsters and origins. I feel like she's like the most famous monster from Greek mythology.
I wouldn't
right?
argue that. I
Kinda
think so.
Medusa. So Medusa is a gorgon. So Medusa
Okay.
came from three gorgons, which were actually born from the sea and some character named Murkies or Morkies or something like that.
All right.
But anyway, if you guys remember, Gaia had the mountains and the sea and Uranus. Okay. And then, so the sea ended up giving birth to these gorgons. It was 2 immortals and 1 mortal. And the mortal was Medusa. And she was the
Okay.
fairest lady in the land.
Yeah, she was the most beautiful woman.
Beautiful, gorgeous, loved her. But guess
Loved
who
her.
loved her?
Love ya.
Guess who also loved her?
Yeah, but in the story, Hera, jealous as she always is.
Well, so hang on.
Yes.
So I think we just skipped over a part that people who don't know her
Oh,
story need to know.
go ahead.
Medusa, being the most beautiful woman,
Yes.
basically on the planet,
Yes,
was sought by Zeus.
she was sought by Zeus, but she was also, for her to keep her beauty, she had to stay a virgin.
I didn't know that.
Yes, for her to keep her beauty, she had to stay a virgin.
And Zeus is a little horn dog.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, what does Zeus do? Wait, does he get away with her? Somehow, she is caught losing her virginity in front of them.
Okay.
And so, pissed as all get out, Hera takes Medusa, rips her hair out, replaces it with snakes, makes her hideous, and now any man that gazes on her turns to stone.
Yes.
So, like, that was her punishment for the rest of her life, was that she was no longer allowed to be gazed upon by men, and now your beautiful locks are gone.
Yeah, her
and
beauty-
so,
she-
Is
her
this
beauty's
something
gone.
to do with like virginity was prized in their culture?
Yes, very much
and
so.
if you lose
Yes.
it, you were then an ugly woman.
yes, very much so. You basically had to, I don't remember what character it was, but she had like a chastity belt. Like that was her power.
Yeah.
And if you remove it, then you ended up like losing all of that power.
That's so stupid. I'm sorry. That's
yeah.
so stupid.
So I found actually something that's very cool. So you guys know there's Greek names, but also Roman names for the characters.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So when I was in school, we were taught all of like both of these names, and I always kind of got confused about it.
It's very confusing.
But basically, Romans, they took on the same Greek culture as they conquered and just named them different things. So Zeus is known as Jupiter.
Oh, that's confusing.
Poseidon is known as Neptune.
Okay. Oh,
Right.
okay.
Okay. Ares is known as Mars. So Mars is
God of
actually
war,
considered
right?
the god of
Yep.
war. Apollo never changed. Apollo was still Apollo all the
Interesting.
way through. Hades was Pluto.
Why?
I don't know. Apparently they named it, and probably from astronomy because they were into that
Sure.
back then.
It's confusing that Uranus is Greek,
Yeah.
but all the other planets are Roman.
Right.
Yeah,
weird.
that's
Because I think
confusing.
Uranus actually meant something different than just the planet we know today.
Right.
Because I think it was before that with the name. Hera was Juno. Aphrodite was Venus. Because you guys know, like the goddess Venus is
Yeah.
considered supposed to be like.
I'm your Venus.
Yeah. Athena was Minerva.
Okay.
And then Hermes was Mercury. And Eros, who was one of the original ones. So when I talked to you guys
Mars.
initially. No, Eros was the god of love.
God of
His
love.
name in Roman is Cupid.
Oh, Cupid. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
Cupid is actually one of the first beings to ever be created in Greek mythology.
And he has his own holiday.
Yeah, so yeah, he goes around just shooting people full of love.
It's a Roman holiday.
Oh,
Got
it.
him.
So, what do you guys know then about the voyages, like the Odyssey and
Homer.
right? Homer's Odyssey. So it's funny, like once you get past the gods and you get past the Titans, it really gets into just like fables and voyages of all of these
Right.
half demigods. And, Athena spends a lot of time wanting to protect the humans. Like, that's kind of her baby. Her and Poseidon actually get into a battle about who they're going to love more. And that's how she got the name Athens. She earned it by kicking the ground and sprouting an olive tree up. And Poseidon was like, here, have a have a river. And he like kicks a mountain and then like floods the whole city. And they're just all pissed. They're just like, Poseidon, what the heck? He's like, I just wanted you to love me. He's like, I went a little overboard. So somehow they were fighting back and forth, Poseidon and Athena, and she won. And now they claimed her as the deity of Athens. That's why it's named Athens now.
Interesting.
Because she won that one. But then you have the story of Troy and the Trojan horse. Mm-hmm. So all of these, the gods played a trick in some kind, because they either like put a spell on a king or a queen or a princess to like fall in love with someone they shouldn't have. And then many of these went to war. Ares was common for doing that because he wanted war all the time. That's what he was. So he often would create these instances that would make them go to war. And so what happened is in Troy, right, they stole Helen.
Helen of Troy.
Troy. And so once they all got back, the Trojan horse story is that as all the sailors were leaving because they were giving up, they left a gift for the Trojans and said, hey, you know what? You win. Us as Greeks, we give up. Here's your your parting gift. And they were just hiding in the Trojan horse the entire time. The boats never really sailed away. They went to an off island, came back in the middle of the night, and then came out of the horse, opened the gates, and slaughtered everybody. Yeah. And got her back. And like those stories are just they've stayed with people for a long time. Homer's Odyssey is literally about a guy after that war just trying to get back home.
Yes.
That's it. That's all it is. And
he
then
gets captured by a Cyclops or something, doesn't he?
Yes, he has that. He has to go talk to sirens, which are again more gods that were created back then too. You also have things like harpies and furies. Yes. Those are things that were all created as well. And I know you guys, as I'm saying this, listening, if you haven't heard of them before, go look them up, because each one has a very unique style. So like the Gorgons, they all had snake hair in the first place, except for Medusa and like golden wings. Like that's what Gorgons were considered. Cyclops were always considered kind of dumb, but they were broody.
Right.
Then you had things like harpies, which are like, they were like half naked vulture.
I was going to say they were like bird
creatures.
women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then you had the sirens, which were beautiful, sang, but then they cursed you. Yes, correct. That once you got close.
Were they mermaids or were they women?
I actually think that
they're depicted a lot as mermaids.
Yeah, in some of the research I did, they predated the first mermaid mythos. So they were women that were just bringing the sailors over to them to destroy them, to kill them. And then it goes into like all of the unique things that happen. So this kind of mimics the Bible a little bit in their story, but in this one, Zeus disguises himself as an immortal and does what he always does. He visits someone's house and has his way with the lady, tries to kill the man. And then Prometheus, though, who is actually a Titan, tried to warn Poseidon, and then Poseidon flooded the entire world and let two people know.
Oh, that's nice.
And then they created what they call the what do they call the ark? Oh,
Noah's Ark.
The Ark of De Solon or something like that. But it's literally the exact same thing. They're supposed to be the only two Greeks that survived and then repopulated
the world.
Yes, with the animals and stuff too.
Okay.
So
interesting crossover,
right?
Yeah.
Another crazy crossover too is Atlantis. So like Atlantis actually is also Zeus punishing a couple cities that he was pissed off with, and he threw the bolts of lightning down. It flooded the entire city, and then it fell into the ground. Was that story?
Yeah, there's
Greek.
a lot.
But there's a lot of Atlantis stories.
Yes.
So, and then Pandora's box.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So, to punish men for their crimes, Prometheus, Zeus orders the gods to make an equal creature of both delight and torment. They made Pandora the first woman. Zeus puts her among men with a box that she has instructions not to open. Curiosity gets the better of her. She opens the box and outpours all the illness and griefs of the world, and only hope remains inside the
So
box.
this is Eve eating the apple in the Garden
yeah,
of Eden.
yeah, basically. So
I've
it's like,
never put two and two together
right.
with that.
So a lot of these could have. Greek, I think, predates the Bible, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I want to say yes, but I don't know enough about the Bible.
Well, and they're both stories are very similar in that aspect of it,
Yes.
though. So it's kind of interesting to
It
put
would
the
make sense
correlations
that if
together.
the Greek mythology existed before the Bible, those stories could have been adapted to fit a different audience.
Yes.
Not trying to say the Bible's fake or anything.
No.
Don't come at me.
But I'm just, but I think there's something to be said though about the correlations
Yeah.
between the two. I mean, there's how many religions out in the world that all their stories are roughly the same, just different names, different places.
Or
Yeah.
excuse me, there are a lot of religions, even like between Christianity and Judaism, they all believe very similar stories, just that Jesus wasn't immortal.
Right.
Like,
Yes. So there's some weird ones in here. You know, you've got the creation of the centaurs. You have the creation of
yes.
Pan, who's like the goat boy.
Yeah. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
How is a centaur different than a minotaur?
A minotaur has a bull head, and a centaur has a man's body with horse legs.
Wait. So a centaur,
A centaur.
man on top, horse on the bottom.
Correct.
Minotaur is man on the bottom, horse on top.
Yeah, but it's a
But it's a
bull.
bull on
Yeah,
top.
it's a bull on top.
And
Yes.
then the labyrinth with the string.
Oh, okay. So what happens is once the Minotaur's created, they didn't know where to put him.
Yeah.
So they like throw him in this maze designed by the best architect
Sure.
in the land, and then they end up having to sacrifice like 7 men and 7 women from the city of not Olympus. I don't remember where it was. I think it's Sparta or something like that.
Sure.
So you had to go in every single time, and Athena, trying to help out every single time, gives the ball of yarn to like the youngest
Sure.
survivor, and he learns how to navigate the maze, and then he gets the best of the Minotaur and kills him.
Got
So
it.
that's where that story came from. But they basically like didn't know what to do with the Minotaur, so they put him in a maze that he would just have to wander forever.
Got it.
Because I mean, this is her like weird bastard bull son that she creates because Poseidon tricked her
Wait, Athena?
into no.
The woman who lived in this town.
No, Poseidon's wife that he tricked to having sex with the white bull initially that made the Minotaur.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you didn't say she was his wife.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, she was his wife.
She was someone's wife.
Yeah, she was. Well, sure. Yes, because because just like Zeus, he went and
Got it.
he
Oh,
slept
he was
with
the king.
whoever he wanted.
Yeah, whatever guy
Whoever,
didn't
yeah.
want to give with the white bull.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah. So you have all of those. You have all of the tortures and crazy stuff that happens in Tartarus, which is really crazy. You've got the God of War franchise video game that literally took every single one of these stories and created like this epic tale that Kratos has to go through. He literally encounters almost everything in here too.
Yeah, I know I've never
Which
played
is
the God
awesome.
of War, which is something that's on my list. But I know that you've always loved them because you're super into the mythology stuff.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's nuts that Gaia gave Kronos a blade to cut her husband's nuts off with. And then he
Yeah.
literally just bleeds into the earth and then just creates all of these children
Yeah, that's
out
crazy,
of his
man.
nuts. And then same thing, Zeus actually, he makes his father throw up all the kids. Because remember how he ate all of the kids except for
Yes.
Zeus? That's how he gets them back, is he forces him to eat poison and then he throws them all up. And so now he has all of his family, and then they go take care of the Titans. Now, in the story, it's really cool. The Titans and the Olympians have people that crossed both sides, too. So some Titans were helping the Olympians, and some Olympians were for the Titans, because they weren't sure whether Kronos or Zeus were going to win the battle.
Sure.
But once the Cyclops came, it was over. It was over, because they gave Zeus the lightning bolt. And
Got it.
lightning bolt.
Got it.
Black Death. Yeah, I actually found a lot of this really unique to the creation of all of these creatures. So
Yeah.
like, Triton, who was half man, half fish. Minotaur, half bull, half man.
Yeah.
Centaur. Pegasus.
Yeah.
So the way Pegasus happens is when Medusa's head gets chopped off,
Yeah.
she births Pegasus during her death.
Really?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Isn't that nuts? So basically, like once she, because
That's
I think
not nuts. That's bizarre.
what is it, Jason and the Argonauts? I think when he
Yeah.
finally chops her head off, that
think
story.
so.
Well, he chops her head off, and then when she does it, it births Pegasus, flies out, and then they fly off and whatever. So it's just kind of unique. Like they don't always birth these children because of sex or because of
Well, say like freaking
fertility.
Zeus cut his head open and apparently a baby's born.
Yes. So it's like these stories, though.
Crazy.
I don't
are
understand
awesome.
the purpose behind some of these. Like
Yeah.
the strange creatures or like the story of like the Minotaur and the labyrinths. Like, what is the purpose of like
If you
what does
were-
that explain?
Like assuming all of this is fictional and didn't actually happen.
Right.
Right.
it's mythology.
Right. Being mythology, I would say that everyone is, I think, supposed to tell a story of like, even though your mind is clouded, you can still get out of the maze, or
Yeah.
there's scary things you have to confront, and sometimes you have to spin around a couple times to figure it
Just
out.
follow
Like,
the yard.
yeah, like I feel like there's a lot of those stories. It also very much is like watch your back because you shouldn't
You
trust
gonna
your
get
family.
attacked.
You shouldn't, or stories of love, or a lot of stories are of deception. Especially with the gods, like they would give someone a quest and then mess with them the entire time on the quest. So one of them, Hades, there's a king. He's trying to get his wife back, and Hades says, "Sure, I'll give you your wife back. You have to come down here and pick her up, and walk your ass back up out of my underworld back home. But you can never turn around and look back at her. She has to follow you the entire way." So they're literally going upstairs forever, forever, forever. And he said, if you look back at her, she will be lost forever. And the guy, without discipline, turns around, looks back at his wife, and Hades' like, well, she's mine now forever.
So they are kind of life lessons. Like,
Uh-huh.
don't look
Yeah.
back.
Uh-huh.
Like, keep
Yeah.
moving forward.
So
Yeah.
I kind of feel like a lot of that from mythology. I've been a fan just because I think the lore is cool, but I think the creatures are super awesome. I think it's cool how it's given names and dominion over the sky and the sea and love and nature and harvest.
Well, and in a time before there was one God to pray to.
Right.
If you were hoping for a good harvest this year, you pray to this God.
Yep.
If you wanted your husband to return safely from his voyage across the sea, you pray to this
to
God.
Poseidon. Yeah.
And so,
Well, and before a time with any explanation to anything.
And then, of course, they looked up in the constellations and created all of
own
these
constellations?
too. Well, yeah, they created
Or
like,
ones that we know.
Yeah, like Orion and Centaurus and Draco and Leo. Like these are all creatures that they believed existed, and they looked up in the stars. That's proof. That looks exactly like it.
Right.
That's their
And
skeleton.
I'm sure there's stories by now they got there too.
Yes, right. Yeah. Like they were stuck in the stars forever or something like that. But yeah, they believed in dragons. They believe, the Sphinx. So like all of this stuff came from their original mythology. The battles of Troy and Sparta and Atlantis, all of that stuff all has origins based in Greek mythology. And then of course Roman mythology, which is the exact same thing, they just named it different stuff.
that's annoying. I'm sorry.
Right? Except I think the coolest one is that Euros, at the end of it, you're like, oh, it's actually Cupid. And he was like the first thing created ever.
That's cute.
Was a little baby in a diaper that shoots arrows.
That's
It's like,
just how-
I'm going to create life, Gaia itself, and I'm going to create the underworld, and then I'm going to create a baby in a diaper that shoots arrows. Like, freaking awesome. Do you guys have
It's a
any?
cherub.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any questions about mythology, or were you pretty keen on these stories already?
I knew some of them. I didn't know all of them, but I mean, I definitely asked questions as we went.
It's really hard to follow the family tree.
That's very confusing.
And going back through it, and I know like I confused a lot of people trying to get through it, but it's like you have to know where they came from to know why they're battling each other and why they hate each other and like
yeah,
why.
And the thing's confusing is when at the beginning, it's like this is a person who's having children, but they're not really a person; they're a thing.
Yes, and it even says it in a lot of the books and research. It's like you have to kind of get rid of your concept of it being a human.
Yeah.
And it's like a concept births another concept.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then at some point it turns into actual people.
Yeah.
So like from Earth, from the from concept makes titans, then makes gods, then makes people.
Right.
So it's kind of like it like has a hierarchy down from below. So it's nuts. It's nuts. But eye-opening. I've been loving it for a long time. I want to get a tattoo of the Trinity, which is like Poseidon, Zeus, and Hades and symbols.
Zooties?
Zooties.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Wait, did I say Zeus?
Duties and haste.
Man, I should screw it up on my
love
arm
Zooties.
and make my family.
Zooties.
You'll call your tattoo Pazooties.
Oh my god, I love it. You should get it where it's like their statues, and it's just like a third of each one of their face,
Yes.
and like separated by lines. And underneath, Pazooties.
Oh my god, never gonna live that one down.
I love it.
Guys, if you enjoyed our 101 episodes, we're gonna continue to keep doing more of these.
Yeah, just because we want to.
Have a good time. We love doing it. Amanda, where can people find us and ask Andy? Can you clarify what the hell you were just talking about?
Okay.
We're right here.
So check out our Instagram at Roll Awkward Podcast. If you have any questions for Andy, because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, hit us up. And we also have a Twitter. And if you know somebody who has a Pazootie tattoo, share this with them.
Can you get it on your booty?
My Pazootie on my
I'll
booty?
get Jerry Springer on my booty. You get
Dear
Pazootie.
Lord. Oh, my God. Okay, I'm going to have some more Pringles ketchup chips, and we'll talk to you guys
Oh
later.
yeah, girl.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye.